All right. So let's start our today's class. So okay, yesterday we saw how to create database and how to activate the database, right? So now, as I discussed yesterday, we already finished understanding some basics about what is database, what is tables, and what is SQL. And yesterday we started creating database, and the syntax for creating database is create database name, right? I created DURGASOFT 3 database yesterday. And as I said yesterday, we need to activate the database before using any database, right? Now I have the list of my databases here, and as we are working on DURGASOFT 3 database, again I need to activate this, correct? So for that I will use a keyword here. The syntax will be like use database name, right? So I'm just executing this. Our database got activated. Now we need to create table. This is what we discussed yesterday, right? So now let's see how to create the table. So to create the table, let me suppose we want to create any employees table. As we know, employees will be my table name, and just imagine I want to create some columns in it like employee ID, employee name, and maybe salary and date of joining. Okay, I want to create a table like this. My table name will be the employees, and this will be my column names. Okay, and I will insert some random data in it, right? Like this, I will enter some data, but this will be my table structure. Okay, this I just wanted to show you this once in Excel file. Now let's see how to create this table structure in SQL. Okay, for that we will use basically create command. Okay, to create the table we will use the create command, and the command will be like create. The syntax will be like create a table. I need to give the table name. Okay, and what is my table name here? Employees, right? So after giving the table name, we need to define the column names inside the parenthesis. So I just open and close the parenthesis. Inside that I need to mention the column names. What is my column names? Employee ID and employee name, salary, date of joining, right? This will be my column names as we saw in the Excel file. Employees will be my table name. This will be this four will be column names, correct? So here, if you remember, while we are discussing about the limitations of Excel yesterday, I said you one point, like what happens in Excel whenever we are I said we will come across with one of the limitation, that is if I entered any randomly wrong data, Excel is allowing me to enter that data. It is not throwing me any error, right? If I accidentally write as we saw, if I accidentally write, let me show you in the Excel file once again. See here, we have a column called as date of joining. So we need to obviously write all the dates only here. But if I write something like this, also it is allowing me to enter. This is what while explaining the limitations of Excel, we saw this as one of the limitation that is called as data consistency or data integrity, correct? So Basically, our system should be such robust that if we enter any irrelevant data or incorrect data, it should throw us an error. And I said we will overcome this, this limitation in SQL, right? So to overcome that limitation, we will use a concept called as data types. Okay. Basically, whenever we are defining or whenever we are creating the table itself, whenever we are defining the column name, we will define the data types for each and every column name. Okay, let's first understand what are all the data types available in SQL, and then we will see creation of the table. Okay, am I clear so far?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now let's see what are all the data types and what is a data type and what are all the data types available in the SQL. So data types, in the sense it defines, let me write it here only. It defines what type of value a column can store. Okay, it defines what type of value, like what kind of value this column can store in the table. Okay, so we have many types of what you call data types. Let me show you one picture quickly. Okay, this is about a SQL data types. We have many data types in SQL. That is, first of all, we will have numeric data type. We will have character or string data type. We have date and time data type, Boolean data type, binary and miscellaneous data type. But mostly we will use the first three data types only. Okay. In real time, mostly we use this first three data types, but along with these data types, we also have Boolean data types and binary and miscellaneous data types. Again, this data types is further divided into this types. Numeric data types, in the sense, in the numeric data types, we can store only numeric values. Okay, numeric data types is further divided into int and float. Int in the sense integers, but the keyword we will use is int. So int in the sense, if we want to store all the numbers like 1, 2, 3, we will use int. Okay. And we have one more data type in numeric data types, that is float. To store the decimal values like 1.2, 2.4, 5.6, like that, if we want to store any decimal values, we will declare the data type as float. Okay, for each and every column, basically whenever we are creating columns, we know what kind of data we are going to insert in that table, right? So accordingly, we need to define the data types for that columns. If we know we are going to insert any number data, we will define the column name as int. And if we want to enter some decimal numbers, we will define it as float. Basically, these two data types comes under numeric data types. Okay, 1 second. So in the same way, we have character or string data types. Here it is or, actually, either we can call it as character data type or we can call it as a string data type. Okay, or. So this character or string data types are divided into two types, char and varchar. Char is basically used for fixed length and varchar is variable length. So actually there is some difference between char and varchar, which we will going to learn going forward. Once we create the table, we will see the difference between char and varchar. But for now, just understand, whenever we want to store any character data, we will use char and varchar. What is the difference between them? I will explain you in a while. Okay. Next, we have date and time data type, and the data types inside it is date data type and date time data type. Okay. So as you saw just now, we are entering date of joining column. I used date of joining column, right? In that, obviously, I'm going to enter the dates only as a data. So at that time, we need to use this date data type. And the format of the date data type is, as you can see here, first we need to write year, and the, this in this format, YYYY and DD, year, month and date. We need to follow this format only. Okay. And along with the date, if we want to even insert time also, at that time we will use date time data type, and the syntax will be this one. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry guys, 1 second. So whenever if we want to add time, then we will use this one, this format. First date time data type, and the format will be like year, month and date, hour, minutes and seconds. Okay. Next, we have something called as Boolean values. If we want to insert any true or false in our data, we will define that column as a Boolean data type, and we need to insert only true and false inside it. In the same way, we have some binary and miscellaneous data types. This one we won't use much in SQL, so you can ignore this. Even we won't use this Boolean also, we will use first three data types only. Okay, so is it clear? Okay. Now, as I said, we have first numeric data types. Numeric data types, we have int and float. Next, character or a string data type. We have a char and varchar. Let's see the difference between them. And next, we have date time data type. We have a date and date time data types. Mostly we will use this three only. Okay. Now let's see. So as I said, whenever we are creating the table itself, we will define the data types for the column names, right? So let's see how to create the table. I'm just copying the same and pasting it at the bottom. So basically what we need to do here now, we need to define the data types for each and every column. Now let me, now please tell me, for employee ID, which data type I need to use?
int.
Perfect. Int, because in
Integer.
employee, correct. Because for in employee ID, we will enter only numeric data. So I need to define the data type as int for employee ID. Next, we have employee name. This is basically the character data. We will enter the names inside it, and the names are nothing but characters or strings, right? So we need to use either char and or varchar. Now, for now, I'm using char. In a while, I will tell you the difference between them. And one more important point here is, whenever we are we will define size for character data. We will define fun whenever we are using character data, we need to define some size. Okay. So just understand, I'm defining 10 here. Let's see what is this just going forward. For now, just just understand, I defined some size and I kept the size as 10. What is this? I will explain you in a while. Okay. And next we have a salary column. For salary column, obviously what will be the data type?
Float.
Float, correct. Because we can have decimals also in salary. If we define int also, that is okay. Anything is fine. But we may have decimals, so generally we will define as float. Okay. Next we have date of joining. So obviously again I will define it as a date. I will use date data type for date of joining column. Correct. So am I clear so far? What I just did, I'm saying that in this statement, this is basically the syntax for creating a table. We need to use create table, table name, employees is my table name, and employee ID, employee name, salary, and date of joining is my columns name. And I'm defining a data type for each and every column according to the data we are going to enter. Employee ID is a numerical data, so I given as int. Likewise, for employee name I given as char, and we need to mention some size for character data. For salary I given as float. Date of joining I declared it as date data type. Okay, so this is how we will create the table. Let's see, let's execute this. See, our table got created. Okay, now you can see from here, I need to refresh here. We can see a refresh button here. We have DURGASOFT 3 database. Inside that we have tables. We need to just expand this. You can see we got one table called as employees. We just now created this table, right? If I just click here, we can able to see the column names and data types which we are defined here at the bottom. As a selected employees here, you can see the columns are, whatever we created, we can able to see here. For employee ID, we declared int, right? This is a list of columns and this is a list of data types. We can, in MySQL, we can view the columns and data types by clicking the tables like this. Inside the database, if we expand the database, we can able to see tables. If we expand the tables, we can see the list of the tables created. Okay, so this is how we will create the table. Let's first insert the data. So now what I did, I just created a structure to the table. I given some table name, I created the structure of the table. Now I need to insert the data into it, right? So to do that, to insert the data, we will use insert command. Okay, used to insert the data in tables, right? And the syntax for insert command is insert into table name values, and we need to enter the values inside the parenthesis. Let's see example. Insert into, what is our table name? Employees, correct? So next I will we need to use the keyword called as values, and I am saying that I want to insert the data into employees table, and what values I'm going to give, that values I will write inside this parenthesis. Here for employee ID, I will give it as 1. I will randomly give any employee name, maybe as a Raj, and I will give some salary, and I will give some date of joining. So this will be my year, this will be my month, and this will be my date, and I write to. Okay, if you observe here, I entered all the data, and if you observe for character data, I have given that inside the quotes. Either we can use a single quotes or we can use double quotes, that is fine, but we need to use quotes for character data and date data type data. Okay, here no need of, I'm sorry, I given twice. So basically for numbers, we won't use quotes, but for character data and dates, we will enter the dates. I mean, we will enter that data inside the quotes. Okay. So this is my first row data. In this, on the first row, I want to enter like this. This is my employee ID, employee name, salary, and date of joining. So if I want to give the second row data, in it, what I need to do, I will directly give that here only. Let's see. Here, after ending the parenthesis, we need to keep the comma. Once again, I will enter the second row details in another parenthesis, like that. We need to enter one. This is the one row data, and this will be the second row data. I'm giving some data here. And as I said, we need to use this format only. First year, we need to write first year, and then a month, and then any date. Okay, like that. So now so this is how we will insert the data. Insert into table name values, and we will give all the values inside the parenthesis, and every row of the data is separated by a comma. Okay, this will be my first row of the data. I need to give the data inside the parenthesis, then I need to keep the comma, and this will be my second row data. And again here, for character data type and date data type, we will give quotes. Only for numbers directly we will enter, we won't use quotes. Okay, this is how we will insert the data. Let's execute this. See, our data got inserted. Now to display the data, here what we did, we created a table, we inserted the data. Now I want to see the output, like I want to see how I want to display the data of this table. To display the data of the table, we use a select clause. Okay, select command, I can say we use select command. Here in today's class, we learned about three commands. First is create command. Create command is used to, let me write it here. Create a command used to create tables, right? So we learned create command. So by using create, we created table. By using insert command, we will insert the data in the tables, and the next we will use a select command. By using select command, we will display the data. And the syntax for select command is select star from table name. Here star, or we will call it as asterisk. Okay, so star in the sense, if we want to display complete data from the table, we will use the asterisk. If I want to display the complete data, I entered this much of data. If I want to display the complete data, I will use asterisk. Okay, let's first see that. Select star from, what is the table name here? Employees, right? So I'm writing select star from employees. This select command is used to display the data. So now let's execute this. See, this is our output, and this is what we created. We got our table, correct? The table name is employees, and we have 4 columns in it, and we entered 2 rows of data in it. Basically, to see the output of how we created the table, or to display the data inside the table, we will use select command. Okay. So here, as I said, to display the complete data, as you know here, I entered this much of data. This is my complete data. As to see this complete data, we use asterisk here. Okay, if instead of to view any particular data, instead of displaying the complete data, suppose I want to display only employee name and salary data. If I want to display any particular data, to display any particular data, we use specific column names. Okay, that means I can say, instead of asterisk, I will say directly e name, because I want to display the employee name, comma, I want to display the salary from table name. Table name is employees, right? If you observe, as I said before, I mean in the yesterday's class, MySQL is case insensitive. We can use capital or small, no problem. Okay. So I'm saying I want to display only employee name and salary. Now let's execute this. See, I can able to see only these 2 columns. Okay. If I want to display the complete data, I will use a star. If I want to display any particular data, I will use that particular column names after writing select. So am I clear so far? If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Uh, Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yes,
In
please.
values, we have entered two rows of data. So
Correct.
is there any spaces in between
Where? Like,
after one and for
no, no, no spaces. We need to use commas. Okay.
commas? So there is
Commas
no
only.
empty
If we
space in
use if
between.
we use spaces also, no problem. If we don't use spaces also, no problem. Okay, we can write as we want, but basically in the insert command, what is happening? If we write comma inside the parenthesis, SQL will understand that this is the data of the first column, this is the data of the second column. Okay,
Okay,
and after completing the parenthesis, if we use a comma, SQL will understand, okay, first row of data is completed, so that then only we will use column, and from here SQL will understand it will be the second row data. Okay, basically comma is used for separation here. Inside the parenthesis, if we use a comma, it is it will, by that it we will understand that this is a columns. This one is the first column, this data is the second column, like that.
okay,
Okay, after parenthesis, if we use comma, it indicates the end of the one row data, and we are starting another row data, like that.
okay.
Okay,
So after writing every command, we need to select it and execute it.
correct, we need to select it and execute it.
Okay. Thank you. What if it throws any error? What do we need to do?
uh, Accordingly, whenever we get any error, we can see any error message like that. Suppose if I am removing comma here, okay, for this it will throw me syntax error. See, like this we will get any error, and at the bottom we try to read this error code. It will say if I did any mistake in the syntax, it will throw us an error in your SQL syntax. Please check the syntax, like that. It will tell. This is called as syntax error, but without if it is not a syntax error, if we wrote any if we write any other mistakes, it will show us in the error message very clearly. By reading that message, we can understand what mistake we did, basically. So suppose uh, we are not supposed to create the same table names, right? Or else no. Suppose I already have DurgaSoft 3 database, let me again create DurgaSoft 3 database. Create a database DurgaSoft 3. Basically, we are not supposed to create the database with the same name. Here, if I create it once again, it will throw me an error, and it will give the error message clearly. Can't create database DurgaSoft 3, database exists, like that. If we did any completely mistake with the concept, it will throw us an error, and by reading the error message, we can understand what mistake we did. If we did any syntax error, it will just throw like this of error. It will say syntax error. So we need to check our syntax once again, like that. With practice, you can able to understand it going forward. Don't worry for now. Okay,
Okay, okay,
but one most important thing here is we need to practice to learn SQL. Okay, we need to remember all the syntaxes here.
yes, understood. But ma'am, I haven't installed this MySQL workbench.
Yes, actually, as this is our demo classes, right? That's the reason I'm not showing the installation process. As you know, we started this demo class on Wednesday,
Yes.
and we this is our third class, and this is Friday. We don't have classes on Saturday and Sunday for this week,
Okay,
and today is our last demo class. For whoever students, please get registered with us. For whoever students who got registered, for them they will get a new link on Monday. You need to log in that link, and from then our actual classes will start. For today,
okay,
our demo classes will end, and on Monday or Tuesday I will show you the installation process. Okay, don't
okay,
worry.
understood. Thank you.
You can practice parallelly.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so this is about how we will create the table, how we will insert the data, and how we will display the data. If everyone is clear with this, I will I will explain you the difference between char and varchar. So if you, is it everything clear? Do you have any other doubts, everyone? So is it clear? Guys, please respond. Let's keep this session interactive.
Yes, yes.
Everyone, I think no one has no issues. If it is clear,
Yes,
Satish?
Umesh, it's clear.
Yes, understood. Okay, guys, thank you. So, yes, now let's see the difference between char and varchar. So here, so just now when discussing about the data types, I said we have two data types, that is char and varchar. Okay, I said some points like fixed length and variable length here you can see here. So what is basically char and varchar? What is the difference between them? Let's try to understand now. So let's see the difference between char and varchar. If it is char, okay, char and varchar both are used as the data types for character data. As we saw in the previous table, we used employee name. We have employee name, and for employee name is basically a character data, right? So for employee name, if I defined a char, as you can see here, we did the same. Where is that? For employee name only, I declared char and I given some size. Okay. As this is the character data for employee name, if I use char and if suppose I declare some size here, what is that means? Let's try to understand here. So I taken employee name column and I declared char as a data type and I given some size of 10. So what happens in the backend while when I do like this, when I create like this in the sense, as a given the size as 10, it divide, just imagine that it is dividing the boxes into 10 parts. Okay. Okay, so it divide the box into 10 parts. I said I want my column name is employee name and I define the size as 10. That means here the size, what it is indicates, we need to define the size for any of the character data, okay, or string data type data. What it does, it will defines the length of the characters which we are entering in the column. That means suppose if I entered any name, for example I entered John, so for each character it will take one size. I defined 10 as is my size and I am entering only 4 characters data, that is for example John. Okay, suppose in employee name I entered John, what it will do, it will take for one character it will take one size. Okay, here as I declared 10, I just divided into 10 boxes, but I entered only 4 character data. And after entering the data, here we are left over with 6 spaces, right? 6 boxes, right? Whenever we are defining the char data type, what it do, after entering the data, the remaining, if it is left over with the remaining spaces, here there is a 10 boxes, I written only 4 characters, so I left over with the 6 boxes here, that is 6 spaces here. So each and every box, it will just uh, declare it as spaces. It will give each and every size with the blank spaces. Okay, 4 characters, I wrote one name. I mean, whatever data I entered, that data consists of 4 characters only. That is 4 sizes it is taking, and the remaining sizes it will take as a blank space. All the 6 boxes also it will use. So if I give 10 as a size, it will use the complete 10, 10 values here. The memory is, first of all, whatever according to the size we declared, that much size it will occupy the memory. Here I have a 10 boxes, I entered only 5. Suppose if I entered only a Sam like this, it will take 3 boxes, right? 3 spaces it will take. All the remaining boxes, all the remaining memory also it will use, and for each and every uh, box here, it will just declare it as a blank space, but it will use the entire size whatever I declared here. Okay, but when comes to varchar, here instead of employee name, for employee name column, instead of char, suppose for employee name column, instead of char, if I declared it as varchar. For employee name, if I declared it as varchar, and if I given the same 10 size here. Okay, so here I used char, I declared char and given the size as 10. Here I used varchar and given the size as 10. Here what it will do basically, it will also divide this box into 10 parts, right? Something like this. Okay, so here I given the size as 10, so it will take 10 character memory here. And if I entered only John data here also, it will take 4 boxes, and the remaining 6 boxes will be there, right? It won't uses that memory. It will, give back that memory to the SQL. So whenever we uses varchar, what is happening here, irrespective of what the size we defined, whatever data we entered, that much of size only it will be used. Varchar will use that particular size only. The remaining size will be, the remaining memory will be given back to the SQL. So by using varchar, memory wastage is will not be done. But by using char, if we suppose for, if we define some 20 space size here, I used only 5 characters. All the remaining 50 characters is also used by the char. That 15 bytes of memories space will be wasted, right? Here whatever whenever we are using varchar, irrespective of the irrespective of the size we used, if suppose I used 100 as my size also, if I entered only 10 characters of the data, the remaining 90 bytes of memory will be released back, and it will be, that memory will be given back to the SQL. So the memory won't be wasted here. Whereas in char, our memory will be wasted. It won't give back that memory to the SQL. It will use all the remaining memory. It will just insert in the blank spaces there. Am I clear? So
Yes.
this is the, yeah, this is the advantage of varchar. If we if we declare, if we declare the var, if we define varchar as a data type, whenever we are giving the character data for that columns, if we define varchar, that will be like, good way of writing a SQL syntax. Because if we don't know what what type of data we are entering, we can give some random size, and if the after entering the data, if any characters bytes will be remained, that memory will be given back to the SQL. That memory wastage won't be done whenever we use varchar. But so this is how at the back end it will work, and in which cases we need to use char, in the sense if we know exactly what kind of data we are going to enter. Suppose imagine I'm using any gender column. Like if suppose my column name is gender, I know what my data will be, like either male or female. So I know how many characters I need to enter in that column, correct? So I can give accordingly. I can give directly either 5 or 6 at that time. Not much memory will be wasted, correct? We know exactly how much data we are going to enter in that particular column. If anything, suppose for if in any column, if we know that we are going to enter any, either yes or no, like that, we know particularly how many characters we are going to enter. Suppose there is one column, I need to enter either yes or no in that column. At that time I can give only 3 as my size, right? So in that cases we will use char. We can use char. But if we don't know how much data we are going to enter, so it's better to use varchar, so that the required memory it will be used, and the remaining memory it will just it won't use, it will give back to the SQL, right? This is the first and major difference of char and varchar. Whenever we declare char and whenever we declare varchar, this is what happens in the backend. So whatever I said, my point is that clear for you? If there is any confusion, I can repeat it.
No, ma'am.
Great.
See, what is it? Actually, I joined just now, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. What's the difference SQL and MySQL?
Okay, I'll tell you. See, basically, in yesterday's or day before yesterday's class, I said you this.
Oh,
SQL is nothing but it is a language. We can call this full form of the SQL is structured query language. This is a universal declared language used to communicate with the databases. Okay. This is a programming language we will use to communicate with the database. Okay, so we need to learn the concepts whichever we are going to learn. We will learn everything about SQL only, and in the SQL we have many tools like MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server, like that. We have many tools. These are all different tools from different companies, that's it. But basically we will learn about SQL only. The concepts in which we are using all these tools will be the SQL only, but there will be some minor changes between the each and every tool. The usage of tool in the each and every tool, there will be only small changes, but the main and overall concept will be same. So in this course particularly we are using MySQL. But if you learn using if you learn this course, you can even apply the same in the SQL server also. Basically, actually, all the we have two types of you know the storage of data, I can say. As I said, as in the yesterday's class, I don't remember yesterday or day before yesterday, I said SQL is a RDBMS, right? That is relational database management system. Basically, in the databases we will store data in the form of tables, right? We will store multiple tables, and all the tables will be related to each other in SQL. Suppose I have 5 tables in my database, one of my database. So all that tables should be, I will create in such a way that the there is some relation between those tables. So that is called as RDBMS, that is a relational database management system. Okay, so here what happens, there is if There are some tools in the market which comes under RDBMS. This MySQL, Oracle SQL, and SQL Server comes under RDBMS. Okay, if we learn any of this tool, and we can use the same concepts in each and every tool. And there is some one more concept called as NoSQL, or we won't use a relational DBMS over there, and the tools comes under this is MongoDB, and NoSQL is also one of the tool I can say. So these concepts will be different. The basic concepts will be same, but here the tables will not relate to each other. So if you learn MySQL, you cannot the almost the concepts will be same. There will be only some difference, but you need to understand that difference also to work with MongoDB. Okay, so basically whatever tools comes under RDBMS, if you learn our course, you can use all those tools with the same concepts. Like that it will be. Okay. And the reason why we are using MySQL in this course is that MySQL is the open source platform. As I said previously, open source platform is in the sense to maintain MySQL, no need of companies don't need to pay amount for that particular. See, MySQL is basically a tool of Oracle. So to maintain the MySQL, no companies will make will make payment to the Oracle. They can access freely, whereas we have already SQL Server, and Oracle SQL is also a product of Oracle. SQL Server is a product of Microsoft. To maintain this, we used to pay, I mean any of the company need to pay some amount for the Oracle and the Microsoft, like that. As it is of free of cost, most of the companies, even MNCs and startups, are nowadays uh, you know are preferring to use MySQL. That is the reason we are using MySQL tool here. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me?
But most of the companies, they say SQL is important to learn first.
Correct. That is the only the SQL, in the sense the whatever we learn, the concepts will be same. See, if you know how to use the phone, whether you phone properly, whether you can handle using Android phone and iPhone. The difference will be maybe the settings will be different, but the usage will be same, right? Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is a good example or bad example. I just wanted you to understand. If you learn SQL, it will be like learning the usage of phone. Maybe the tools are different, you can handle with that, no problem. There will be very slight differences, but the whole concept is about SQL.
Okay.
The language we will use is SQL. That is what we are going to learn in this course. But to deal with this SQL, we are using just, I can say, as a software, we are using MySQL, but we will cover all the SQL concepts only. Okay.
Okay. Thank
If
you.
you learn this course, that will be the basic thing to start your career in IT, whether it may be any domain. In every domain, SQL is important.
Yeah. But one more thing, how to download that? Because we want to do work along with you. So
Yes,
this all
that's what.
things
On Monday's class, I will show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay.
Okay. Thank
We
you.
don't have classes Saturday and Sunday. On Monday, I will show you the installation process. And if
Okay.
anyone is new today, new to our class today, I already took 2 demo classes on Wednesday and Thursday. You can find that demo videos in DURGASOFT YouTube channel, or else as you attended the class today, by today you will receive the mail from our admin team. In that mail, they will provide the demo links. Please watch that video. It will be helpful to you to understand the basics, okay, so that you can understand. If it is you can just watch the videos and you can understand with the flow up to today's class. Okay. And here I'm discussing about the differences of char and varchar. This is the one of the most major difference between the two, char and varchar. For varchar, whatever size we defined, irrespective of the data we enter, the remaining size will be the remaining memory will be given back to the SQL, as I said. But in char, whatever size we defined, the complete size memory will be used by the SQL. Okay. And there is one more difference, that is the storage capacity. In char, we can store up to 255 bytes only. 255 bytes of data only we can store in char. Okay, in varchar we can store up to 64,000 bytes. There is some number, frankly I didn't remember, maybe 64,524 I guess, but 64,000 bytes of memory we can define in varchar. Okay, so if we are going to store more than 255 bytes of memory, again we need to define varchar only. We cannot use char. But basically in real time, what we do, if we know exactly how much data we are using, like, as I said before, like for gender or like for any particular, that type of columns only we will use char. Most of the time for all the columns we will use varchar only. It will help us to, it won't waste the memory, right? Whatever data we entered, it will take that particular data, and the remaining bytes of the memory, it will just release back to the SQL. Correct? Am I clear the difference between char and varchar?
Madam, if 10 letters means is it take 640K?
No, it's not like 640K. I'm saying we are giving the size as 10, right? Like that, we can give the size up to 64,000, like that. We need to define here. We can
Okay,
define
okay,
up to 64,000 bytes of memory inside the varchar.
okay, okay.
Like that, according to the size we defined inside the varchar, that much only it will take. Like I defined the 10, right? It will take first 10 bytes of memory, and inside that whatever data we entered, here you can see as I used 10, it took 10 bytes of memory. Whatever data I entered, that much of bytes only it will use, and the remaining memory bytes it will release back to the SQL. Like that, if I if I declared 50 as my size, it will take first 50 bytes of memory, and after entering the data, if any bytes is left over, that bytes of memory will be released back to the SQL again, like that. Okay.
Okay. So, madam, one more thing.
Yes,
For
please.
example, if we give char 10 digits, but if I enter a name about 10 digits,
It
like
won't
just
accept, it will
wait
throw us an error stating
in
the limit
varchar
is
also.
yeah, it will. In varchar also, if I defined varchar of 10 and I entered some 20 bytes of data, it won't accept, it will throw us an error stating let's see what error it will throw.
Oh,
For example, can you see my screen?
yes, yes.
Yeah, so here we used 10, right? 10 characters of data in employees table. Let me insert the data once again. I will enter randomly something like this. We entered more than 10 characters here, correct?
Yes, yes.
It is throwing us error stating data too long for column employee name at row 1, right?
Yes, yes, right.
Data too long, it won't accept. If we given within that size only, it will accept. That's what I'm saying. Almost 80% or 90% of the times, by seeing the error message only, we will understand very clearly what mistake we done. It will give very clearly. Sometimes only if we just miss some commas or like that of very small things, it will throw us, it will state as like syntax error, but most of the times it will give us a clear message so that we can understand exactly what mistake we have done. See, you can, by
Oh,
seeing this message, we can really understand data too long for column e name. It is even mentioning the name also, correct?
yes, yes.
So like that. So till now we understood about the basics of a SQL, like what is database, what is SQL, what are all the different tools in SQL. In this course, we are going to cover MySQL, and when coming to the concepts, we saw how to create database, how to create table, and how to insert the data, how to display the data, and we learned about the data types also, correct? So I hope everything is clear for you till now.
Can you give one more example with date time?
Date time. Okay. You want to insert me time also?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is employees data. Let me create another table.
Oh, the same table, madam. Okay, okay. Other table, yes.
We need to actually, to show you how to change the data type, I need to use one more concept I cannot randomly use here. I want to go with the flow, then only you can understand perfectly.
Okay.
After creating the table, if we want to change the data type of the column, like we used previously data type here, if I want to change the data type of this column, there is one concept I wanted to go in that flow only so that you can understand clearly. Okay, we have a
Oh,
concept called as SQL sublanguages. We have many commands over there. We will learn each of them in a sequence. Okay, so for now,
okay.
as you want to see date time, I can create another table. I don't want to show you now only how to change the already created data type. Okay.
Okay, okay.
I'm giving the table name as EMP, and I will keep the same columns as it is. For data of joining, maybe here we need to give date time data type, right?
Oh,
That's it.
yes.
I'm not changing much. If you want, I can change it as varchar. Of course, here you cannot see much difference in the output, but date time we can see. So yeah, I'm creating this table. Now what I did, I just created a table with EMP as my table name, and I changed the date of joining data type to date time data type. Here I need to insert the data, right? Insert into EMP
EMP.
values. I need to give the values inside this. I will give randomly some values. Ename and salary. Next, I need to give the date of joining here, but as we want to see the output along with the time, what we need to do, we need to give the inside the codes. First we need to use the format as first y. So I will give some 2020 year, then we need to use any month, then we need to give any date, and I can give timestamp also here. As you can see in this, what we did here, we need to use this date format first, and we need to use hour, minutes and seconds, right? So I will use any maybe 12, like this same format we need to use. Here you can see we need to use this colon whenever we are giving hour, minutes and seconds, like this. Okay,
Okay.
maybe minutes, 25 minutes and some 12, 10 seconds, like that, something like that. So date of joining, name, salary, this one. You can see our data got inserted here. Let me just display the data. To display the data, I can use select star from EMP, right? Like this, we can
Yeah.
able to say this is our date, this is our timestamp. Okay, but basically for all the character and date data types, did I mentioned in the notes the reason why I'm writing all this here, in the sense I will share these files only for you as a notes. That's the reason I will I will write all this in all the definitions also here itself. For character data type and date data, we need to use quotes, right? Either single quotes or double quotes, that is fine, but we need to use quotes. Correct?
Correct.
So this is it. I hope this is clear for you. And as I said, we are going to use a Netflix database in our course whenever we are learning. Once we are done with the basic concepts, like I said, we have something called as SQL languages, as I shown you the index also yesterday, right? Once we are done with all these concepts, I will show you how we will work with the Netflix database. I will explain you that database. This is a real-time database. I can say this is a OTT platform database. All the OTT platforms, maybe Amazon, Prime, like that, all the data, all those platforms. And even if we store any kind of, movies or DVDs or, that stores physically also, in some physical stores also, we will maintain the same database. So that database we are going to use in this course. At that time I will explain detailedly about the database. I will show how many tables are there, what is the data inside it, and I will give you that database to you, and I will show you how you will connect that database in your laptops. And from then the main concepts we will start understanding the operators. We have many operators in SQL, then we have many functions in the SQL, and from here advanced concepts of a SQL will start, that is joins. If you attend any of the interview, 80% of, I mean, any of the SQL interview, 80% of the questions they will ask you on the joins only. Joins is a very important concept. We will discuss each join very slowly with examples. I will give you examples, I will explain you in the class, and I will give you some questions to solve you. I am having another batch at 7 o'clock also. I'm just covering a SQL, I mean, I'm covering joins concept only there. See, like this I will give you many examples, and I will make you to solve all the examples. So basically what I wanted to say is, I will teach everything very practically in my course. I won't just simply teach the concepts. I will simply telling the syntaxes and simply ending the topics. I won't do that. Whatever I teach, I will teach very practically, so that if you learn in that way only, you will be in a stage to answer your questions in your interview. Because nowadays no one is asking about, tell the definition of the concept or tell me the syntax. Everyone is asking, if everyone in any interview, it may be MNCs or startups, they are checking you, they are giving you the real time questions. They'll give you the tables and they will ask you to solve that practically. So you should be in a stage to solve that answers. For that, I will teach everything very practically here. Then we will have the concept called as regular expression, group by clause, having clause, aggregations, next groups, subqueries, normalizations, ER diagrams, denormalization. Like that, we will have many concepts. Okay. So this is the course content which I will cover. And you can also get the link of the course content in your mail. Please check that. And with this, our demo classes are done. If you get registered, you will get a new link on Monday. Okay. And the course fees is of only 2,000. Usually we need to previously we charged 6,000, but from the last batch we are offering a special offer. The course fees of 2,000, and the course duration is of 40 days. Okay. So if anyone didn't watch or didn't attended my first two demos, please watch the videos and get registered with us. Okay. If everything is clear, I will end the session for now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye. Let's meet on Monday's class.
Yeah.